good evening. I hope everyone is having a wicked Friday night. I'll start off by saying my name is Siobhan. I'm coming to you from London, Ontario, so wherever you're seeing this, thanks for joining in. So I wanted to call this sequence, She's as Sick as She is Lovely. And that kind of holds true to me for a lot of reasons. It's the title of the book I'm publishing, and it also just represents a lot of the fact that there's so much about other people that we assume. You know, you see somebody, you see the way that they look, your interpretation of them is not necessarily what's going on. You know, that whole don't judge a book by its cover thing is so important because you really have no idea. And so with this sequence, I wanted to start talking about things that are real, that are actually, you know, all the things that we're all thinking and nobody ever says. So maybe this is kind of a diary to myself. You know, there's been lots of times in the past where I'll write things on social media, for example, inspiring, whatever, and I will write those things in the hope of generating some positivity for other people, but really I'm writing it for myself. And that's kind of what this space is for me now. Come here, baby. And you'll see my boxer. And I'm sure a lot of these videos, because he's such a mama's boy and he always wants to be where I am. But come on. There we go. Sorry, guys. So part of the reason that I wanted to make these videos is just because I wanted to just start to bring a little bit of realism into the realm of social media that's just so damn fake, you know? We spend so much of our time comparing our lives to the lives of other people through this tiny little lens that is social media. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, all of that shit where nothing is real except we take everything as though it's reality based. You know, you get this 1%, this tiny little snippet of somebody's best days, and suddenly you think that that's their best life. And then it makes you feel like shit about your own life because you look at it and you just think like, look at those people just living the dream with their happy marriage, or, you know, how healthy they are, how great they eat, or their skin or their hair, or all their beautiful model pictures. And it's like, none of that shit is real. Everything is there in order to create an image. And we all do that. We all spend so much of our time branding ourselves with the way that we want to be perceived. So whether it's a good or a bad thing, it's a perception that we're trying to create for ourselves. And the reason that I wanted to start making these video blogs is to sort of dissect some of that fake, you know, some of that non-reality that we all get sucked into. Here's an example. It's a Friday night. I seldom have Friday nights off. And what did I do? I came home from work. I watched a couple episodes of New Girl. I sat around my house. Then I went to Chapters and I sat around there. I mindlessly flipped back and forth between Instagram and Facebook and my email, none of which I ever have any reason to really check because I'm not that popular and nobody emails me. But I did that for a while. I did a bingo, and then I came home, watched a couple more episodes of New Girl, and here I am. And the thing is, I can then post some sort of a Snapchat with a candle burning and a tea, say hashtag quiet time, hashtag night in, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is, I spent my Friday night alone. And I spent a lot of my time alone, more time alone than I'd really like to have, more time alone than I'd like to admit to. And here's the first veil of deception coming down for number one. Everybody is going through some shit. Everybody is struggling. Everybody is trying to figure out who they are, what their thing is. Like, I've gone on this, you know, this quest recently, and a quest is probably too exaggerated of a word, but I've started asking so many people that I know what their purpose is, if they know it, if they think that they have a purpose in their life, and if they think that they're living their purpose now. And I'm interested to hear what people have to say, because I spend a lot of my time, unfortunately as an empath, I do this, but just questioning my own purpose, questioning why I'm here, questioning what my point is, questioning who I'm supposed to be, questioning how I'm supposed to show up in the world, all of those things. I spend a hell of a lot of time questioning. And the more time that I sit alone doing sweet fuck all, I've really got to emphasize that, like, a lot of time gets wasted in my life doing nothing, like watching New Girl. I didn't start it that long ago, and I'm on season 6 now. So for any of you who's counting, that's a hell of a lot of episodes. But just asking people, like, what do you think your thing is? What do you think your purpose is? And when asked the same question about myself, I said, okay, well, I know that I'm here to help people. I know that I'm here to make an impact for people's health. I know that I'm here to make an impact on the way that people perceive themselves and encouraging people to find the best part of themselves. I know that I'm here to work with animals. I know that I'm here to work one-on-one with people. I know that I'm here to teach yoga and to do public speaking and group engagements. I know that I'm here for all of those things. And as such, I'm more on the right path to doing those things than I have been in my entire life. And yet, I go through serious points in my life where I go, okay, what's the point? What is the point? Like, I was talking to my mom on the phone yesterday, and I was telling her, I've got this couple different yoga studios and a couple different farms that I'm going to be working out of, and doing some collaborations with some people with wine and yoga and all of the things that I love. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so excited. This is amazing. All of these things are great for you. And I was like, yeah, except earlier today I spent, I don't know, probably a good 35 minutes at least crying on the phone, talking to my sister, going, what the fuck is the point? What am I doing with my life? What am I doing here? And it's that whole perception versus reality thing. And that's one of the things I just wanted to draw a little bit of attention to, is that she's as sick as she is lovely. The perception of somebody versus the reality of them. All of those things are true, and I'm on the right path, and I'm doing the right things, and I'm interacting with the right people, and I'm gravitating to exactly what I want and what I've manifested for my life. But it doesn't necessarily mean that every day I'm gonna know what the hell I'm doing with my life. And I think that we all have that, and that's the tricky thing with social media, for example, because we spend so much time in comparison mode, so much time looking at other people's stuff, and everybody knows it's fake book, and everybody knows that Instagram is a bunch of filters and Snapchat's just a bunch of people, narcissistically making little filtered faces on themselves doing things that really aren't that important. And if any of us are really honest with ourselves, none of us are that important. Not even celebrities that we follow, hockey players, politicians, whatever. None of those people are that important that we need to follow their every second of every day. Do you guys care if I had a smoothie bowl for breakfast? No. Does anybody else care? No. I was actually in the woods the other day with my dog, and I laughed at myself because I was the only one out there, but I actually thought, if I don't take an Instagram video of me being out in the woods, was I really out in the woods? It was that, like, kind of along the old antidote. If a tree falls in the woods and nobody hears it, did it still make a sound? If you're out in the woods using your Instagram and you don't take a video, were you actually there? Because you haven't engaged the audience of people that you think you're so important to engage on a regular basis? The answer is fuck no, because at the end of the day, as we all know, none of that is even real. None of it's real. All of it is filtered and fake. And it's interesting to me because I'll scan through different people's Instagram, for example. I'm not really a big Facebook person, but I'll be on my Instagram. And I've looked at different people's Instagram, and I've seen the way that they portray their relationship, their love for their spouse. And I know of some of those people who've cheated on their spouse and continue to cheat on their spouses. But they're the ones who post the hashtag love you babe, miss you, beautiful, blah, 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 blah. And it's humorous because perception versus reality is so, so different. But what do we focus on? We focus on the perception of what our lives look like. And I think that's just such an interesting way that we've started, like that it's changed so much. And we're adults. Anyone who's watching this is probably adult age, somewhere in the mix. And we have a responsibility to the young people in our lives, whether they're our children or they're other people's children or they're just the next generation of people. We have a responsibility to get our heads out of our asses and stop focusing on stuff that doesn't matter. Stop making it about who's got the best looking filter for their skin or their pouty duck face lips or their long fake hair or whatever the thing is. And don't get me wrong, I've had extensions before. This is my hair now, but I've had extensions. I've had my nails done. They're mine now, but I've done all of those things. I've dyed my hair. I don't know. I haven't got quite into the eyelashes or eyebrows or the other shit people are doing yet. But it's not to say at some point in the future I won't do the same. But we have a responsibility to at least bring some level of realism, so that our next generation doesn't grow up completely beside themselves for how to measure up to something that's not real. I mean, even as an adult, I'll look at some people and go, man, I wish I looked like that, or I wish whatever, blah, blah, blah. And the ironic thing is, I'll be 32 this year. So I'm early 30s. I've always looked a version similar to the way I look now. I've always had a flat tummy and curvy hips, big thighs, and big boobs. I've always had those things. And I've never felt comfortable in my body. I've always hated my legs. And anybody who knows me well can attest to the fact I have pictures on the beach from when I was 22 years old in Barcelona, and I was wearing long black yoga pants. I refused to wear a bathing suit. And I can't say for certain where all those things stemmed from, but I will say that when I was in high school, I was going into grade 10, I went to a Catholic high school and I had to wear a kilt. And probably within the first couple of weeks of grade 10, this nasty bitch of a girl that I went to school with, looked me up and down in my kilt and said, "You got kind of fat, eh?" And it was like ripping my heart out of my chest. It was like somebody narrowing in on the thing that I was most insecure about and shining this big ass light on it and making me feel like every shitty thing about myself was completely valid. And I stopped wearing a kilt. I stopped wearing bathing suits. I probably stopped wearing bathing suits a few years earlier than that, but I wouldn't wear dresses. I wouldn't wear shorts. I wouldn't wear anything that exposed my legs. I wouldn't even wear jeans for years. I would just wear black pants. And it was just because I was trying to hide behind black, I guess, And I can't say it was because of that one incident. It was obviously my own self-esteem and the perception I had of myself and how models are portrayed as these tall, skinny girls. And if any of you have met my gorgeous younger sister, she's 6 feet tall and she looks like a model. She's got really long giraffe legs that are, skinny and toned, and a big ass and a big set of boobs. And I was always a little bit shorter and curvier. Don't get me wrong, I love my curves now. I absolutely love my body. But for many, many years, I was like, but she's the model. She's the one who looks a certain way, and I'm the one who has the big thighs and the big bum, and, I don't look like the girls on the magazine covers. And I spent so many years, I look back at pictures and I'm like, fuck, I looked amazing. I looked great then, I look great now. Why did I get so stuck in my own head about the way that I looked? Well, it's because I spent so much time seeing the idea of what pretty is supposed to look like, and beauty is supposed to be concealed into this skinny little package, and I wasn't it. And that's when I go back to, we have a responsibility now with our youth, with these young girls about giving them an idea of what the hell beauty actually means. Beauty actually means that you show up in the world as a loving, kind, empathetic person who gives a shit. It means that you wear your heart on your sleeve. It means that you care about other people. It means that you do the right thing when nobody's looking. Those things are beautiful. I know a lot of beautiful women on the outside who have ugly ass souls. And then I know a lot of people who society standards say wouldn't be your drop dead definition of gorgeous, but they are stunning on the inside. And honestly, like, again, beauty fades. You can only get so much Botox or so many facelifts and injections and whatever. But like, ugly lasts forever. Like, that's, ugly on the soul, there is no procedure that's going to help you fix that. And that's the thing that we should be teaching kids to focus their energy on. That's the thing that we should be learning in schools. Nobody teaches you how important it is to love yourself. And it's got to start there. And now with this social media conglomerate that we all subscribe to, that believes in filters and in Snapchatting seconds of our lives and somehow portraying that as the overall big picture, it's not glamorous to show the fight you had with your boyfriend on your Snapchat, or how you rolled out of bed and you look like a bag of shit after you went to the bar last night, or how messy your house is when you're not taking your perfect little pictures of your breakfast. Those things are not the things that get you the likes. And so nobody talks about that, but we all have it. But the problem is we spend so much time looking at everybody else's screenshots of their life that we forget that it's not their reality. And we have this responsibility to stop being this fake version of ourselves so that we get to be more real with the next generation, with each other. Like I said, it's a Friday night and I'm by myself and I'm lonely a lot in the city that I live in. I have a lot of amazing friends spread out throughout the entire world. I've lived in a lot of places. I've met a lot of people. I have lots of acquaintances, tons. I could have something to do with an acquaintance any night of the week. But I'm a person who prefers quality over quantity. So I don't hang out with people just to fill my time. But that also means that I spend a lot of my time by myself. And that kind of sucks sometimes. So, here I am, Friday night, by myself. I got my fat little fur baby with me, but otherwise I am alone. And I'm going to say that that's okay. But in reality, it sucks sometimes. It really, really sucks sometimes. And the person who hears about how much it sucks for me is my sister. I don't post it on my social media. I don't hashtag forever alone with that sad little gremlin face. I just have to sit with it. And that's reality. Not every day is a good day. Sometimes you feel pretty damn alone. But we're not alone because we're all alone sometimes. So that's kind of the ironic thing, is I'm still alone, besides Snorri here. But there is so many other people feeling the same shit as I am. It's just nobody is saying it. So let me be the first to say it. Being alone really sucks sometimes. Living alone really sucks sometimes. Not having a ton of incredible friends in one place really sucks sometimes. Not loving your body really sucks sometimes. And as I said, I love my body now, but that's 32 years in the making. And it's still a work in progress. So not subscribing to all of this perception versus reality shit is a work in progress, but definitely something that I'm trying to spend a little bit more time doing. So I'm not going to ramble on too much longer, but I wanted this to be the first of many honest videos. Just the first of, random shit that happens to me. I tell stories all of the time. You know, I've worked in the service industry my whole life. I've done nothing but tell stories, and I've got loads of stories. And so it seemed like this is kind of a good place to get those stories out. So some of the stories might be just, you know, ridiculous things that happened when I was a flight attendant, or crazy things that inappropriate men have said at my job, or things that are amazing that have happened in the community that I've got to experience, or just the ways things are great or good or bad or all of those things, but just things that are actually real. Because I don't always think that there's enough reality in our reality. So if you still tuned in, thanks for hanging out with me and letting me ramble on. I appreciate you listening to this. And I don't know, if it inspired you, amazing. If it didn't, that's okay too. I hope you have a great night wherever you are, alone or not alone. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Good night.